All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get right back to it. We're gonna do it with the second part of these battle drills, all right? So again, just to reiterate, all right? Five main areas of emphasis is gonna be shoot, move, communicate, survive, and adapt. Remember, when we're talking about the battle drills, these are things that should be skills that are integrated into these soldiers' brains already, so that when it comes to the execution of your mission and your planning, and just at any point in time on your movement, on your patrol, these soldiers are ready to react and know exactly what to do in these different type of scenarios, right? So as a leader, it is on you to ensure that they're being trained to do that and that you yourself know these as well. All right, so first and foremost, today we're going to be talking about conducting a squad assault, then conducting a platoon assault, react to unmanned aircraft system while dismounted, and then performing casualty movement. So right off the bat, we're going to talk about conducting a squad assault. So remember, to compare the two, we're talking about squad compared to a platoon size element, right? All right, so in your squad, you have your squad leader, right? Then you have two fire teams, okay? So with that, you have a fire team of 3, and then the team leader, and then another fire team of 3, and another team leader, and then their squad leader, all right? So with that, we're going to go into the steps of it, okay? So again, you're going to team in contact immediately returns fire. So again, we're in that squad formation. Here we have a squad wedge, right? Squad fire team wedge. This is that first fire team taking contact and later returning fire, right? So then, returns fire. The squad leader then reports contact to the PL over the radio, right? They're going to move toward the fire team in contact. The fire team in contact then suppresses the enemy. The squad leader moves the fire team not in contact. The squad leader then moves the assault fire team into assault position to then assault through. The other fire team remains as a support by fire. If assault element is stopped, squad leader positions squad to suppress enemy and report to headquarters. Squad leader then conducts consolidation and reorganization and reports to the PL. So to break it down to you with this image, first again, we have that squad together as one, right? The insignia for an infantry squad, and we have two enemies right here, right? So we're taking fire. This is that first fire team taking fire, right? You see the team leader here. So what they're doing is they're taking that fire, right? But then this is them automatically knowing to return that fire, right? So then what we have here is that this would then become that fire team becoming a support by fire line as they continue to lay that suppressive fire. We now then have this element of the fire team then becoming the assault element. So like we've said in the last video, you can assault from right or left, being New York for right and California for left, right? So when we're assaulting New York, in this instance, we're assaulting right. So they will then become the support by fire line, continuing to lay down that suppressive fire. They will shift as we assault through, with the squad leader moving with that assault element, as we labeled in the steps as well. If the squad leader gets in position with this fire team and deems that they cannot assault through, then they will stay there and stay online with that support by fire line and keep suppressing fire until they have that fire superiority. So then after, assuming that they can assault through, they would assault through, kill the enemies, clear it, and then boom, you're reporting back to the PL, so that PL can know, hey, first squad, we just took contact, but then we conducted a squad assault and cleared 2 enemies. So you're reporting that back, just that clear line of communication, so that down to the PL and the PSG, they're tracking exactly what's going on. All right, so now we're going to dive into conducting a platoon assault, okay? So think about that squad, right? So now you want to think about a platoon element, right? You got your assault 1, assault 2, security, weapons squad, and a security squad, right? So when you think of like that initial formation you're in, right? So there's 3 squads. So you have the squad in the front, got your PL and your RTO, the squad in the middle, and got your PSG and your medic, and then a squad in the rear, right? So in between that, you're divvying it up where you want your S1, S2, weapons, security, right? So usually the way you would do it at camp, the way I did it is I would really put, it depends on the type of mission you have at hand, right? So if I'm doing a mission where we're doing a movement and then we're getting to a certain point where we can stop before we're actually close to the engagement area, and we could really stop and I could try to place my men after, like, say you do a leader's recon, you actually know the area, then you go back to the ORP, and then you actually pick up for movement, then that order of movement that I would use would be, it would pertain to the mission at hand, right? So for right now, let's just say we have AS 1, AS 2, then security in the rear, right? And then we have our gun team 1 split up between with the PL and then with the PSG, right? So the gun team 1 and 2 split up with them, right? So visually, you have to think about the fact that security is staying as their own squad, and then assault 2 and assault 1 are staying within their own squads. But that weapons squad is split up to where that gun 1 and that gun 2 is split up in the formation to where one is with the PL and one is with the PSG, right? So the way that I want to go into this is, first we're going to read off and then I'll add my input to it, right? So it says, platoon conducts actions on enemy contact, including immediately return fire and reporting the hire. Platoon leader gives command to dismount vehicles if mounted. Platoon sergeant takes control of the vehicles if applicable. PO, RTO, forward observer, squad leader of next squad, and one machine gun team move forward to link up with the squad leader of squad of section in contact. Squad leader of trail squad moves to the front of the trail squad's lead fire team. Weapons squad leader and second machine gun team move forward and links up with the platoon leader. If directed, weapons squad leader assumes control of base of fire element and positions machine guns to add suppressive fire. Platoon sergeant repositions vehicles that provide observation and supporting fire. Platoon leader assesses situation. If squad or section in contact does not achieve suppressive fire, takes action. Remaining squads not in contact take covered and concealed positions and observe platoon flanks. PO determines if squad in contact can gain suppressive fire. Platoon leader determines again if platoon can gain suppressive fire against the enemy. Platoon assaults enemy position. Platoon consolidates on objective. Once assaulting squads have seized enemy position, platoon reorganizes. Platoon sends sit rep to company commander. All right, so that's a bunch of words at once. So that's why I want to take this opportunity to really explain the way that I take this on. Okay, so as you can see with the insignia, right? So this is an enemy infantry squad, right? The one dot meaning infantry squad, right? And to begin, this is our fire team column wedge, just platoon fire team column wedge, right? So as I mentioned at the beginning, we have our 3 main body squads, right? PR, TL, medic, PSG in between, and then gun 1, gun 2, right? So with that being said, that gun 1 and gun 2, we're going to keep the weasel with gun 1, and then gun 2 will stay with the PSG, right? So then from there, what we're saying is, if we're going to conduct an attack, boom, we got eyes on the enemy, we're returning that fire, right? So then we move into step 2, okay? There's a lot going on here, and I'm about to break it down, okay? So that initial squad that's taking contact, let's say we are in the terrain to where we could get them online, right? So this is their initial spot with that first squad taking contact. Bang, 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 bang. They're returning fire. They're landing suppressive fire, right? So then you got to think about this. Well, the PL and the RTO are right there, right? And then I also have a gun team with me. So what I'm going to do is, as the PL and the quarterback, right, you're going to call them up. You got to communicate well in these type of moments. You already have someone, this squad, getting online, returning that fire, right? So with that, they're returning that fire. I'm calling up my people and I'm saying, hey, I got this gun team with me. I need the weasel and the PSG. Well, the weasel's already with me as well, right? So we're in the formation. The weasel's already with me. So that's cool. I got the weasel getting this gun team down to where the gun team 2 will get in position and the PSG will take my position behind this gun team 1 and gun team 2 to create that support by fire, right? So then with that, I'm then taking another squad. Well, first, let's look at this. So I have that last security squad to put in place, right? So now I'm conducting the attack. I'm simultaneously telling that security squad leader to maintain that 360 security in the rear, right? So we have all this action going on over here, but let's make sure there's not another part of this enemy force that could come and attack us from the rear, right? So we're establishing that 360 security, right? So that squad leader is going to in place them, while me, the PL, what I'm doing is I'm going to take those 2 squads, right, and we're going to become that assault element. So, right, that initial squad that first took that contact, once this gun team and gun 1 and gun 2 have created the support by fire, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the squad I still remained with that hadn't been placed anywhere, and I'm going to take them into an assault position, right, with the PL and the RTO there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this squad pick up, and they're going to follow and assume in the rear of this assault element, right? So that means if I'm assaulting and I deem that it's necessary that I need them to assault through with me as well, then they're there. And then as I assault through, I clear through, and I'm on this side, I now then have this squad here to where I can in place and conduct 360 security if I still need to while I'm making my reports, right? So that's the breakdown of a plethora of words that you got, right, for a platoon attack. But simply put, right, so this is just for a platoon, fire team, column, wedge, right? That's the formation we in where we already have these squads already divvied up, right? But even then, if you have different squads in this different part of the formation, as that PL, you have the freedom to, on the fly, it's on the fly, but you're making that communication. You're calling up who you want brought up, who you want pushed back, who you need your PSG staying with, right? So with that, so since the gun team's already split up and I have the Weasel with me, that's why I'm able to in place the Weasel and say, boom, weapon squad leader, I need you there, and you're setting up the support by fire line until the next gun team and the PSG get in place with y'all, and y'all are a complete support by fire line, right? So that way I can control the actual assault element, and the PSG can take care of support by fire line with then having the medic with them as well. So that is the platoon attack. All right, so for our last two battle drills, right, we don't really need the whiteboard because there's not too much to show with the icons, right? But so for this one, it's going to be reacting to unmanned aircraft systems while dismounted, okay? So the platoon detects visually or audibly an unknown or adversary UAS. Platoon leader receives contact report from the squad leader. Platoon leader identifies the unknown UAS as friendly or enemy. Platoon leader assesses situation. Determines if adversary UAS is directly engaging platoon AO. Determines if adversary UAS is hovering the platoon AO. Determines if adversary UAS is crossing the platoon AO. Squad leader provides updated spot report to platoon leader. Platoon leader directs protective actions. Platoon leader reports platoon status, then continues operations according to the order and commander's guidance. So what I'm going to say with the UAS stuff when it comes to CST is a lot of the times they casually would tell us, hey, expect the UAS today, expect the drones. But honestly, in the platoon I was with in first reg that I went to, we didn't get a lot of contact with these UAS, with the drones, because I believe we had an arm signal that we made as the SOP for our platoon. And I believe, like, if you saw it in the air, it was, I believe, this, or no. It was something like this, I believe. It's like ORP, but like, yeah, so I believe it was something like a hand signal to signify, hey, there's some fucking thing in the sky, right? But even with that, I mean, we had it to where you just do a spot report, right? Where you're calling up to higher, like, hey, I think I see this. Either they're doing reconnaissance or it's something that we haven't identified, or what it will do, what is it doing? So really, when you think of it from a CST standpoint, which is like the most I could speak of, it was just something that we actually didn't get any experience on with that. So like when they told you to be worried about these drones, my thing would be, yes, you want to disseminate that from top down, like, hey, you can expect it, and this is the hand signal so that we all understand what we're calling up. But other than that, you just do a spot report, send it up to higher. Because at the end of the day, I feel like that's the most you could do with the type of mission set and the type of personnel that you have and the capabilities you have. That's all you're really doing is notifying higher, like, hey, this is what we just came across. That's all I really take it as. Okay, lastly for today, we're going to talk about performing casualty movement, all right? So first, it says we're going to identify the correct extraction device for the tactical situation, communicate the plan to the casualty, approach the casualty tactically, secure the casualty's weapon and equipment if applicable, move the casualty using a manual carrier drag, move the casualty with the proper extraction devices if applicable, and transport the casualty using a litter. So what I take this as is when you dive into this, it's more so like, how well have you trained your soldiers to really, do they know TCCC, and then do they know like the steps of march and things like that. So when you're actually at, like, from a CST standpoint, yes, you have your CCPs, your casualty collection points, you have your medic, right? But at the end of the day, what I saw was that when you're actually taking that fire and Cadre says that someone is down, yes, you can automatically have someone start performing TCCC, right? So what that is you're going to return fire, and then once you have gain suppressive fire, you're going to bring that casualty to cover, right? So once you're in cover, once you're at cover, right, you're going to try to communicate with that casualty first, see if they're responsive. And then from there, you're going to see what their injuries are, right? You're going to go through March, right? So first M is massive hemorrhaging, A is airways, R respiratory, C circulatory, and head is head injury and hypothermia, right? So you're going through that process of March as TCCC is, I mean, like the most that I've seen at CST was like someone saying like, hey, I'm notionally applying their tourniquet here, here, here. This is what they have. And then you're reporting that up for these 9 lines, right? So in the previous video, we talked about that call for a CASIVAC and a MEDIVAC. So with this is the actual hands-on of the Joe, seeing that casualty take place, taking that casualty to cover, actually performing the TCCC, tactical casualty combat care that they can perform themselves to get them ready for that 9 line to be used for that bird to come. So to kind of wrap it together, like that's that battle drill that you would use then with the 9 lines that we covered in the past. And when it comes to CST standpoint, yes, you want to do your best to then perform that TCCC on that casualty that you see, right? And then write it down, document it as fast as you can in that moment, and then report it to that medic and PSG so that they can make that accurate 9-line call so that cadre can see, hey, they actually identified the actual injury that this casualty had, and they were actually able to report it to where the bird in the 9-line was sent the right way, to where that bird, it brought exactly what they needed to extract the casualty, exactly what they needed to take the casualty into the air. So it's things like that, you know. So with that, again, this is the conclusion of battle drills. You know, we talked about conducting a squad assault, conducting a platoon assault, and the difference there being the size of your elements, right? Then reacting to unmanned aircraft system while dismounted, and performing casualty movement. So again, it all ties into the 5 emphases of shoot, move, communicate, survive, adapt, right? I feel like the biggest takeaway from this is that conducting a squad and platoon assault, right? This is something that you may feel like in the moment at CST, that when you're doing a movement to a certain lane, if you take contact, or you're doing an actual like move to contact lane, in that moment of where you're actually taking fire, you trying to yell out 3Ds, where the fuck are they coming from? And you don't actually see them. Don't panic. This is something that y'all as a platoon will already know, like, hey, the battle drills, do you know them, do you not? And then we'll talk about them and then go from there. But at the end of the day, just trust that they know this information, to where then you use this as an asset in your mind, to where, hey, I know exactly what to do when shit hits the fan. Boom. I'm going to take that leading element, that's that front squad, first returning fire. We're going to move up the PL in that gun team, and we're going to get online with them, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that weasel, we're going to put that gun team, and we're going to try to get them online to where I can then pull my PSG and my second gun team, boom, get online with them, set up that support by fire. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those squads, put them in assault position, and assault through with them, right? Like, this is you as a PL having the fluidity to really think on the fly and just really be like, oh shit, it's going down right now, but this is exactly how I'm going to react to it. So that way you realize in the moment, like, hey, I have the personnel for this, I have the men, I have the firepower for this. Fuck it, let's do it, let's clear through, and then keep the mission rolling so you could actually complete the mission.